In the grappling hook properties for the item, we have our input. So the hook input, this is going to be how does this item controlled. You have an initial one, which is going to be the grappling input. Now, when it comes to these, one of the things you want to do is make sure you look at the Build-A-Game video ones, so that you understand there's several states to the grappling hook. You can actually shoot it out and hook something. You can then use it as an arm that actually goes out like a crane and picks things up. And then you can also use it where you can use it to as a weapon where you're shooting it out to punch something or to hit something that's a physics object. So there's a lot of different ways to control it. You want to know which way you're wanting to set it up for the end user. For this one, we're just going to set it with the basics. So we're going to say it's 8 directional in terms of the shooting, meaning that it's going to shoot, if the player is running at a top angle, it's going to shoot at the 45-degree angles going around. If you wanted free aim, that means it's just going to be wherever. It could be not directly in a hard angle. It could just be wherever the player is facing. The reason you would use this is if you're doing like a top view game and you're actually wanting to do a free rotation. You can do the click position, meaning wherever your mouse is going to be currently at. And then the facing direction is just if you have a character who does full rotating, then you may want it where it's always in the front direction for them. The button inputting is going to say that to release it, so if you hook it to something, by default it's going to say that when you push down, so release on down. Now if it's release on up, what that means is that you have to actually hold your mouse down or your button, and when you let go of the button, then the player or the grappling hook would drop from it. So both of those, it's going to create very different type of gameplay, so be sure you test out both to see which one you want the end result to be for your grappling hook. The input control, you have several states. Notice you want to just read across them. They're going to make should make good sense, is that you have a 1-button type, which means it only does one thing. However, you have the 2-button and 3-button types. So you can fill up your entire your joystick buttons just with the functionality of the grappling hook. So if you want it to go through all states, it can do a push, pull, and grab. Then you can set it for a 3-button system. And then remember the button system on the input, you can change that inside of Build-A-Game on settings. And then those will be something that each user, if they wanted to, they could change it to what suits them for their controllers. Move state, very important right here. This is where you want to know what they do, and that's part of where when you're inside the Build-A-Game testing them out. There is a moving the holder to the target. So this is standard grappling hook. If I shoot a target and then my player moves to the target. But there's the opposite. You can have the target move back to the holder. So if you're wanting to grab something and have it come back to it. And then the last one is being hit with a force. And then of course you could do a none. So these are also, consider this is like a pickup item. You may pick this item up, but then the upgrade for it would be moving the target to the holder. And if that was the case, you would do a trigger event so that it would allow it to actually change the property. You have a shooting at. So a shooting at means that you have very specific ones. Anywhere is so that you can just shoot in the air and you could actually get into a grappling hook state. You also have the collider only, meaning that it's going to do a raycast. It's going to check in front and say where I'm going to shoot, can I hit it like an actual collider? If you can't, it won't shoot out. And then the last one is target only. That's going to be based on the tile in Build-A-Game will have a brush that actually allows you to pick targets for it. Alright, and then center hook is just simply saying that do you want it to hit, so like right where it hits on collider stop, or when it hits, it moves the whole object to the center of the other tile. Alright. We'll go through a couple more here, and then we'll stop and do another video. We have a AutoMove. So on grappling the socket offset, this is saying that again we're going for the actual object that's being shot out. We have a speed that is going to be moving out from. We also have the holder rotates with the rope angle. This means the player. So whatever player is connected to it, if you want the player, when he swings, you want the actual object to rotate with you with the angle of the rope, then you want to make sure this is checked. And then reset means that when the player lets go, do you want it to actually reset the player's rotation, and then how quickly? Alright, you also have a rope collision. If you want it to collide with other colliders in the scene, then be sure this is checked. If you don't have it checked, it's actually just going to pass through all of the anything inside the scene, which may be something that you want. You may want it to only just swing on just a consistent on a single rope versus having it hitting and then changing different rope pieces. Alright, so they're going to be the basic setup for these two parts. Let me go ahead and roll this one up, and we'll keep walking through the rest of them just so you can get an idea of the differences that you can use with it.